Yeah, it's hard to say what it is exactly.
So why is it so exciting and why do we care so much about it?
Because we don't know what it is.
Oh yeah, once you know what you're looking for, you could see it.
It's break time!
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands, strong like a tree.
I think one of the best things about Lindisfarne is that it's such a big excavation in terms of basically the whole team gets to come. We all have a role to play here and it's like a big family reunion. My name is Maya and I'm head of community at Dig Ventures.
I'm Indy Jago and I'm a community archaeologist for Dig Ventures.
My name is Ben Swain.
I'm Harriet. I'm Jodie Hannis.
I'm David Wallace.
My name is Nat. I'm a community archaeologist with Dig Ventures.
I'm Ginny and I'm the intern.
My name is Slim Shady. I shouldn't do that. I can't get away with that. I can't pull that off.
So Dig Ventures started as really just Brendan and I and our dog. And then we went up to 2 dogs and more people. But it's been like an organic process and actually adding people to this team has been the hardest part of it. So when I think about describing my team as a whole, and which I do often because people ask me, we are the island of misfit toys. You know, it's the place where all the toys who were slightly off somehow and didn't get to go to Girls and Boys at Christmas by Santa, they all end up there. And of course, they're the coolest. They're the most interesting. They're the ones who've got it all going on. And that's how I feel about my team.
The dig's divided into 2 halves. So you've got an eastern trench and a western trench. In the western trench, so you're getting a sense of actually there's quite a bit of stratigraphy on the site. So we're using that kind of cut through that as a section, which is quite a kind of cheating way of seeing as a cross-section through the archaeology. We've also started to find a whole series of features around that site, these circular features we keep on joking about.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see the full extent of it and, you know, just to see if it's coming this way underneath the cuts and extending into this area or not.
It looks like it's a bit high on this edge here.
Yeah.
So we can see what's going on.
Yeah, I just don't know what it is.
No, I don't know what it is.
There's a lot to talk about when it comes to the circular feature.
Semicircular feature, burnt feature.
Big round thing. Yeah, it's hard to say what it is exactly.
We weren't really sure quite what was going on. We knew we had a big circular feature.
There's quite a bit of burning.
Having dug down, it's just clearly gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And the name has evolved, the interpretations have evolved. We just don't know what it is. It's potential it could be a corn dryer, but then I was looking at other examples of corn dryers last night and they're square. Saxon corn dryers are square. This is circular. It's a large circular feature.
Some people say that the finds team is a breed of its own. That might be true to a point because I think in order to be really good in the finds room, you need to be a bit pedantic. I've learned over many years that if you have stuff lying around, especially Sharpies and masking tape, it disappears. Archaeologists, when they see a Sharpie, they think, oh, there's a Sharpie, I might need one. They pocket it. Not with me. This year, because of the pandemic, we have to keep things clean, we have to keep them sanitized, we have to keep them separated. So I made sure that every table has their own masking tape and Sharpie. I'm Johanna, and I'm a community archaeologist with Dig Ventures.
I don't think I've ever really come across anyone like Johanna before. I don't know how to describe her. She's
Unique?
yes, unique. I think Johanna is unique.
Anyway, I'm smiling at you now.
Are you?
I told you that doesn't work.
What I
Yes.
was going to tell you
Yeah,
is I snuck in here before anyone else was about.
into the finds room.
Right, I did move the box.
I
When
knew
put
it.
back. I've got my coin book out because I wanted to see what it was and I couldn't wait. I did not lose any of her finds. What finds were those?
You move her coins.
Right, so I went in nice and early to go and try and identify some coins so that I could share that with her and she could share that with everyone else. It could be, I think it says Ethelred on it.
It definitely says that. I'm just not sure about the printer. Well, but have
Which
you?
Ethelred?
Well,
So many.
it's when you don't have any imagination how to call your children.
I guess, yes. It wasn't me, it was Maya. Maya came in later and took that tray away and 2 of those coins ended up in different bags. I was the one who rescued the situation.
I didn't steal it. I asked her permission if I could use it. Johanna and I sometimes fight over stuff in the finds room because I want to take loads of pretty social media pictures of them and sort of share some of our discoveries, and she likes to have everything in its place. Yeah, I think it was probably me that took the box of coins.
I've been an archaeologist for as long as I could possibly remember. But it wasn't until my very early 20s that I went back to university as a mature student. That the first summer of that first year, I went to do field work, and that changed everything for me. I found the first artifact of the dig. It was a small bone point. You know, I didn't just find that point, but I found my point and really discovered myself. Okay, so very excited when you were talking at dinner about circular things cutting circular things cutting circular things. But it's not helping, is it? So even with that, up against you know, this terrible sunlight, which is great for archaeologists, not so great for the archaeology. Talk me through what you have.
So you've got something coming through here.
Okay.
But we're not entirely sure what it is because it seems like a bigger bit.
Okay.
Then we've got a series of small.
So just to recap on that, so I can see that they've got slightly more stonier edge here. Is this outside of your thing? Is your line coming through?
It's a grade.
Got it, okay. I feel like I need to apologise for this kind of very objective, it's a circular feature or it's an amorphous blob. It's vital that, you know, when we're digging, we don't prejudge what it is that we've got. So I hope everyone understands that we're not just being cagey, we're being good archaeologists.
I don't know why archaeologists, they just refuse to name anything, because if they name it, they feel like they've committed, and I think archaeologists just have commitment issues.
We know that monasteries, one of the things about these monasteries is they're big sites where they do lots of production, they're creating things, there's lots of craft and industry. So we're fairly confident it's early medieval, and that's the first battle, because it is cut by later graves, which gives us a kind of later upper date, which it could be. And at this stage, we're at the stage of lots of potential. You know, we need to dig it, but I think I'm particularly excited by the possibility of that.
You see, what we have from this is that small find, I think it's 135, which is crucible-like. It's ceramic, it's could have been used in a process, but might be superstructure rather than used as a crucible. But got our archaeometallurgist Jerry McDonald really excited. So what I'm trying to understand is whether this is related to any of that burnt material down below.
What we thought was just a really small half was suddenly turning into this great big burnt feature, backfilled, about maybe 7 or 8 metres across potentially. We realised that we've got hints of iron smithing, even maybe iron smelting, copper alloy working, but we'd only just started to scratch the edge of that feature. It's a big feature.
Top secret, it is a kiln. We know this because we've got metalworking debris, but for now we'll just call it a circular feature.
The archaeomag person, I'm going to abbreviate it because I can't say the full word, is coming out to site, and then maybe once they call it something, we'll not be so reluctant to call it that.
So when someone else says it,
we're okay to call it that, yeah. It's not our fault then if it's wrong.
It was interesting looking at the area as a whole because stratigraphically this is obviously higher, and all of the metal finds, we've got these little tags from the detector that came out from up here, were lead, a bit of lead stuff. Whereas further down in the sequence over there, it was more anglo-saxon coinage. So it really helps to prove to us that we've got later stuff up here, and further down we've got the earlier stuff. So we've got a nice build-up of material that we can tell what comes first.
That's brilliant. And that then gives us confidence to maybe be a bit more robust as we start to take this area down. Okay.
That's it. My area of the trench is a sort of the south part of the main trench too. The very first day we actually turned up 3 coins in one day, and up until that point there'd only been 7 found, I believe, in the past 4 seasons. We started just sweeping the trench for the metal detector to come up with some targets, which we labelled in the ground. And I thought, well, I don't know what they'll be, they might just be bits of lead or iron or something. But you mark them in anyway, and when you come to excavate that layer, we had venturers just cleaning back, and I said, oh, there's a target there, so let's just have a little investigate around that so that we don't lose it. That was the point at which we started finding some lovely coins, early to mid 9th century, I believe something like 830 to 840 AD, which is not too long after the Viking raids, so there is still a little time gap there, but it's only sort of 40, 50 years roughly.
Should just say the photogrammetry that we're using, so it takes photographs, stitches them together, creates a model. Basically I'm going to imagine that the site here is gridded up, and I'm going to walk up and down in straight lines and then move across up and down in straight lines, walking 1 step forward, taking a photo, move another step forward, take a photo, and keep on doing that.
I really like the use of digital technologies and the way that they've embraced that at Dig Ventures. I've always been given the opportunity to explore and find something that works and really can communicate what we're finding in the grounds with a much wider audience. If we can record something, say, in 3D on the ground, then that can then be uploaded, put online, and somebody the other side of the world can then see and enjoy that.
You'll have noticed the sun comes out, and when it does, I have a shadow. And unfortunately that shadow moves with me, which means that when it's taking the images, it's always got that there, so that's moving the whole time, which is a bit frustrating.
If we have a little break now, hopefully I'll be able to get this done at some point so I can stop standing here, and then you can take photos and everyone can be refreshed. Yeah. Do you want to let people know? Thanks. Not even got any snacks.
I haven't got any snacks.
Just stranded.
The photogrammetry takes a while. The sun has been miserable. I'd much rather have a nice overcast day. And the wind as well. When you've got a camera on the top of a very long pole, it can get a bit blowy and it's difficult to hold it up straight.
What do you think the chances the wind will blow that tiny little cloud over?
Fairly small.
But you end up with a very accurate photorealistic model, which, you know, is not just something that we can use, but we can share with other people. It seems like a no-brainer.
I've done this so many times, and the only time where I get stuck in a trench is when I'm being filmed.
Getting a busy bee action shot. Can you all type furiously? Thank you. So this is the hub of activity that is social media.
It's wild. The keyboard's burning. Fighting the trolls day by day.
Are you killing them with kindness?
Yeah.
Just thinking that I could go through your tray if you want and throw out anything that you should ignore. Because I think that especially smaller stones, there are a lot in there. At least they were in the other trays. Usually there is always 1 or 2 finds at least in the finds tray. But the thing is, because we work with volunteers and with people who might not have dug before and this is their first day, it's better if they put stuff into the finds tray that is nothing than to chuck it away because they're not sure. But often it's also not easy to tell when you're in the trench if something's something. So that's also why the finds room is quite important, because that is where you then distinguish and sort out and say, okay, good, bad, keep.
People, actually, I think many of them just come back and back to the finds room because of Johanna. She's also just so positive. She leaves us all these little sticky notes every few days, giving us like little words of inspiration and saying what she likes about everyone on the team. It's so sweet.
For me, it's actually the people that we're working with. For me, it's the community. It's the fact that I know that by offering this to people, we're making a change for them, and they actually really like coming here, and I like all the interaction. I like their enthusiasm. I know of a lot of people who have actually told us that we more or less changed their lives in a way, and some of these stories are really touching, and it's just nice to know that you're doing that for people and you're not just sitting in front of a laptop all day. When it comes to finds, I like the personal finds. So last year we found the finger with the 2 rings on it, where you your mind starts working. If I touch the object, never actually clean it, then I get a connection to it. Because you hold it for so long and you look at it so closely that you start thinking about it. And once you start thinking about it, you start thinking about the possible story of the object, especially the story of the person who has lost that object. And now this year we found a skull that might have been hit by an arrow or something, because it actually has 2 holes and one of them seems to be partially healed. So that's quite interesting. And this bit was also found by David just underneath the skull. And apparently it could be some kind of a weapon. Could be, again, it's just one of the theories, one of the little stories that we're thinking about when we're working with these finds. So there you can see it looks almost as if it has a pointy end. I don't need gold, I don't need swords, I just need stories.